You're watching CW Montana. This is the MTN 9 o'clock news.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. Q2 News has confirmed there are 4 new positive COVID-19 cases in Bighorn County. County health officials say those results came back today. We have no other details at this hour, but we are told health authorities are still awaiting more test results. These 4 new cases would bring the total number of coronavirus cases in Bighorn County to 8, 6 of those active. On Monday, the Bighorn County health authorities confirmed the county's 4th case, a woman in her 20s. Now, not long after that, the mayor of Lodgegrass, Quincy Dabney, ordered the town back under lockdown. These were the only new cases. Well, they actually weren't. We just heard from Custer County authorities that 2 additional out-of-state residents have tested and confirmed positive there in Custer County. We'll have more on that at 10 o'clock tonight. And in Wyoming, the number of confirmed cases today jumps by 9 more, bringing the state's total to 529. Fremont County still sits with the highest count at 193 confirmed cases. Well, nearly 3 million more Americans filed for unemployment benefits last week. That's more than 36 million people now in 2 months. But the real number is expected to be even higher because many people can't get through the overloaded state systems. CBS News' Mark Strassman has details.
Free groceries drew this line of cars a mile long in Dallas today. Across America, food insecurity spreads like a virus.
How are you fixed for food?
Very low.
Tiffany Andrews lives outside Atlanta.
How many days a week would you say you go hungry?
Maybe twice, 3 times.
Until mid-March, this jobless single mother of 2 drove a hotel shuttle bus. She made $12 an hour.
How much money do you have left?
I have $9.
You have $9.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia sent her 1 unemployment check in 6 weeks, $365. Then, nothing. She has called the state 885 times to find out why.
I can't get in touch with anybody. Can't get any emails back. I can't do anything. My hands are tied.
State unemployment systems are overwhelmed. A recent poll showed 55% of people filing for benefits were unsuccessful. And the real unemployment number may be double the official 14%.
I'm not going to be able to give my baby her Pampers, her milk.
Marvin Spratley's also struggling to get his unemployment benefits. We first interviewed the jobless cook in Philadelphia 2 weeks ago. He had $600 left.
I'm down to my last $27. I never thought that it was going to get down this slow.
Federal data estimate 42% of recent layoffs will become permanent. Economists say 100,000 small businesses have already closed for good. Tiffany Andrews owes almost $2,600 in back rent. She just got an eviction notice.
You know, I have people depending on me.
I got to believe that lonely position to be in.
Very. Feel abandoned.
We called Georgia's Department of Labor about her unemployment issues. Turns out the state computer had trouble verifying her identity. It's all been straightened out. She's going to get all of her past due state and federal money, $6,100. Mark Strassman, CBS News, Atlanta.
Well, as Montana moves forward to reopen, those currently on unemployment may have a lot of questions. MTN's Annie Johnson talked with an expert today and breaks it down for us.
One day you're working from home and the next your employer might be asking you to come back to work. But what's your rights as an employer and as an employee?
This is a unique time where I've never had to say it depends with almost every legal question posed that's related to any of the policy changes around COVID, because they are updating them so frequently.
So let's break it down, starting with the employee.
If the employer offers them their job back, they do need to come back. Otherwise, they will not. If they refuse to return to work, then there is a good possibility that they will not be eligible for unemployment.
But there are several circumstances where an employee has valid reason to not return.
If they're a primary child caregiver and there's nobody else at home, and that's the reason that they're refusing to return to work, or if they are a caregiver for somebody who's been affected by COVID.
And the employer has specific responsibilities to uphold before they can ask employees to return.
The employer who's asking them to come back is still required to be following the phased reopening directives.
But a responsibility the employer doesn't have is determining whether someone can or cannot receive unemployment benefits.
Whether or not they continue to receive unemployment benefits is made by the Department of Labor, not the employer.
If either party has concerns, the best place to start is the Department of Labor's website.
Go to the website and look and see if any of the questions posed have an immediate answer, or at least some guidance so that they know if they have recourse.
There's so much information out there for both employers and employees to find a reasonable solution. Reporting in Bozeman, Annie Johnson, MTN News.
More than 36 million Americans have applied for unemployment benefits within the last 8 weeks. Today, Governor Steve Bullock announced he would allocate $5 million from the Federal CARES Act to expand energy assistance for thousands of Montanans. That money will assist about 18,000 current low-income energy assistance program clients. Current LEAP program recipients will automatically receive the supplemental assistance. The supplemental benefit will be applied toward each of their electric bills.
Oftentimes, we hear of customers or participants that have to make that choice between paying their energy bill or buying food or paying other costs that are associated.
The emergency COVID-19 energy assistance program will use a 1-month income look-back period to determine eligibility. The benefit period will run from today through August 31st or until those funds are gone. Well, more than $1.7 billion in federally backed small business loans are now approved for 21,000 Montana businesses, but some additional money for these potentially forgivable loans is still available. The money is from the Paycheck Protection Program, or PPP, approved by Congress in late March. 2 rounds of financing have been approved and the money is all but gone, but Montana banks are still accepting loan applications. The Small Business Administration is constantly updating its rules, so it's important for businesses to check in with their banker on where things stand. For example, today was supposed to be the deadline for businesses that didn't use their loans to return them without penalty, but that deadline is now extended to Monday.
It's a very fluid program, very complicated in terms of how the rules are being modified as they go. So, rather than stay home and fret and stew and wonder how you're going to stand your business back up again, work closely with your banker because they can help in a lot of different ways.
The PPP loans are supposed to cover payroll and other expenses for businesses shut down or operations curtailed during the pandemic. State lawmakers heard an update today on how COVID-19 has impacted local government operations around Montana. Leaders from the Montana Association of Counties and Montana League of Cities and Towns spoke before the interim committee, saying the pandemic forced cities and counties to change things like public meeting procedures, permit deadlines, and office operating hours. In many cases, those changes required Governor Bullock to issue a directive relaxing some state requirements. Leaders praised the cooperation between the state and local governments.
Although there have been bumps in the road, it is amazing in my mind how well your local elected officials have got along, have adapted, and have tried to keep the conduct of public business as normal and as rational as possible through this pandemic.
Well, leaders say the state, cities, and counties were able to work together with public health leaders to create a system to notify first responders when they may come in contact with a person that tested positive for COVID-19. The Wyoming Air National Guard's 153rd Airlift Wing will salute healthcare professionals on the front lines tomorrow. The Air Guard pilots will take off from Torrington at 9:15 in the morning in 2 C-130s, then fly over each hospital across the Cowboy State. If you live in the Sheridan area, look up around 10:40. The pilots will then head west to Lovell and Powell and on to Cody at around 11:15. The demonstration is part of Operation American Resolve, a nationwide salute. Well, the COVID-19 storm has nearly brought air travel to a standstill across America and around the world. That is evident in the latest numbers from Billings Logan International Airport. The number of departing or connecting passengers from Billings dropped by more than 90% in April compared to last year. An average of just 78 people flew out of Billings during the month compared to 1,175 a day in April of 2019. Flights by nearly all the carriers serving Billings have been reduced during the pandemic, with only Cape Air still flying its normal schedule of 13 flights a day. There has been a slight uptick of passengers so far in May, that number averaging about 160 a day. Well, that's just a fraction of how many would normally be flying. Airport Director Kevin Plone says it is at least a move in the right direction. Well, along with Laurel's Drive-In Theater, 2 Billings indoor theaters, the Art House and the Babcock Theater, are ready to open their doors. Creative director for both theaters, Brian Ostrike, says the Art House will have a soft reopening tomorrow, while the Babcock will reopen on May 22nd. Art House members will be invited into the theater Friday to enjoy the film Balloon. That same film will also be available on the Art House website for members that are not comfortable being in the theater just yet. Then on Friday, the Babcock will reopen to all members to enjoy the classic film Jurassic Park.
You know, we've been real grateful to the distributors that have, put up some of their back catalog for us to be able to show, and they are showing it at a discounted rate in order to kind of get people to come back to theaters and enjoy a film. And yeah, it's been great for us, and AMC is going to do what they do, but yeah, we will be open.
As of now, the Babcock will allow about 200 people per screening. That's down from the normal seating capacity of 700. Butte's Council of Commissioners is coming up on a big decision. They're expected to decide at their meeting next week if they'll approve the signing of the consent decree, which outlines the 5-year cleanup plan of mine waste there in Butte. This step must be completed before the plan can move to the state court for final approval. If all is approved, then cleanup work can begin to eventually remove Butte's status as a Superfund site.
So we got a lot of work ahead of us, but we got to get this consent decree done and stop talking about making Butte better and start doing the job and getting work done to make Butte better.
The Butte Council of Commissioners meeting is this Wednesday, May 20th at 7:30 in the evening. Still to come on tonight's 9 o'clock news. 17 sled dogs rescued after being left to die may soon be looking for their forever homes. We'll have details. But first, Bob McGuire's in with your full 7-day forecast.